Hello, my name is Tatiana Webb, and this is Off the Record, brought to you by Nana Music Productions. Today, we have an amazing woman in the studio with us today. We have Miss Jilla Webb. We are not related, first of all, but she is like a mother to me when it comes down to vocal technique. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being available. I mean, with both of us, we are so busy all the time. So to be able to catch a moment to, talk a little bit about music and, just kind of talk about some, origin stories and stuff and everything, I think it's just amazing that we were able to do this. So, listeners, if you don't know Miss Jilla, she's a vocal coach. She does private vocal lessons, but she also is the professor of commercial voice at Auburn University. She's also the co-director for Sonic Nation, which is like a pop ensemble that is over at Auburn University as well. She also has just received her certification with the Alexander Technique. So she is now a certified professor or teacher for Alexander Technique. Can you tell people a little bit about what that is and kind of what you had to go through to get that certification?
How long do we have? What it is, my elevator pitch, I say this, my elevator pitch for what it is it's rewiring habits and restoring freedom,
Mm,
which we all have bad habits that we get into, and a lot of them we're unaware of, and they sort of become unconscious habits because habits start to feel normal and natural, and you don't know that you're doing them. So the Alexander technique is a process where the teacher is trained to really look deeply at those and to help you start unlearning them. And in that way, then your brains and muscular, neural pathways starts to rebuild and reform in a different way that gives you ease and freedom, rather than trying to sing through tension or play through tension or, your golf swing through tension or
yeah.
whatever it is that you do to do it more effortlessly and easy, to have more ease and freedom in your movement.
I love that. I mean, it kind of reminds me, so I give vocal lessons as well, and so I in a way, I probably need to start studying the Alexander technique because I do the whole like breaking down of the habits, and then it's like, okay, we're going back to the basics and trying to reestablish those good habits of breathing right and wearing how does it feel when you sing a certain note and those things and kind of reconditioning the body to be more adaptable to what you are trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish through voice and through singing. So yeah, I think I need to now check that out. You've now inspired me on the air, so thank you so much.
Good. I can
Uh,
recommend some reading.
Yay. But also, we go a little bit of a couple years here. We actually met in 2010. When I was in 10th grade, Mr. Robert W. Smith and Miss Susan Smith with St. James, I was in the marching band, and they brought Jilla in to be my vocal coach for because I was singing with the marching band, which is at the time it was unheard of to really sing with the marching band because, you think about instruments and pits and stuff like that. So to have a vocalist on the field, that was a new thing at the time. So and then we continued our vocal lessons and did showcases and such. And she's just been a very integral part of my vocal development and kind of my inspiration as well as and really my encouragement to give vocal lessons as well. So I appreciate you so much and just letting you know that, from 14, 15, I've grown into this, person to, learn about the music industry, learn about voice and how much it's played a part in my life. So I really appreciate you.
Well, I am honored to have been a part and to continue, hopefully, to be a part of your life and your growth and your learning. And it's always just, I mean, it's so good for me to see and just be a part of watching how you're flourishing and you're just growing. And I'm so proud of everything you're doing. I just want to put that out there right away and just say you're just incredible and you're doing amazing things for the community and for musicians. And it's just lovely to see you blossom the way you are. So
Oh, okay. Before we all get teary-eyed and stuff, Thank you so much. So that was even not really understanding it at the time, but we kind of talked a little bit about my origins and that like flashback. But let's talk a little bit about Jilla and how Jilla got started. And like, a lot of people they talk about they got started in high school, or we had someone say that they had like their own little garage band that they started. So can we talk about your origins? How did you get started with music?
Yeah. Well, my mom was my first teacher, and she sang with the Harry James Orchestra. So I don't know your listeners, some of them may know who that is. But if you know Frank Sinatra is a singer who was his very first band was Harry James.
Mm,
So, Harry James was a band leader and had a lot of great singers, and my mom was one of them. So I sort of grew up around music and got a really wonderful education with the big band swing era and all of that music. And she taught me to sing. And then I did break out and do my own, bands. And really, I think my first paid gig, I was, I don't know, 13 or 14 and
wow.
been sort of working ever since then. And I've toured around the world and I do impersonations and still do a little bit of that. Um, I came to the Alexander technique about 10 years ago.
Mhm,
Went for what I thought was just going to be another voice lesson because I'm one of those people that I study. Like, I had a sit down gig for 3 months in Quebec City, which was lovely. I did that for 3 or 4 summers and would seek out teachers. So I've sought knowledge in every place that I've been, and I have a wide variety of different styles and techniques to pull from. But I thought I was just going for another voice lesson, and all of a sudden she started doing this stuff. She put her hands on me, and I felt release and freedom that I had never felt. And I thought, "Oh, what is that? I have to know what it is." And so I began studying, and then started my training, my formal training.
mhm,
And of course, COVID hit.
yeah,
And, we tried to keep going virtually, and the school that I was studying at shut down for,
mhm,
I mean, for obvious reasons. It was very hard to do anything back then. And then I did distance learning from Boston Conservatory for a while and did about a year and a half of study with them, and
mhm,
then completed my study and training with one of my teachers in South Carolina. So I would drive and do intensive study with them. And then I just certified this past October in Philadelphia. So that was very exciting. And now I can hang that shingle alongside of some of the others. But I'm really, like I said, it's really nice to be able to dig very deep with people and give them an understanding of the body and how it's a system.
mhm,
But you can't change, you can't look at something and say, "Oh, it's my vocal cords or it's just the diaphragm that's breathing." It's not. It's the whole system and it's the whole body, and if one part of the body is pulling unnecessarily or pushing, then it affects everything else in the whole system. So helping students understand that and free those things is really rewarding, and that's really how I've been approaching now all of my vocal lessons. Then I do give straight Alexander lessons too to, like I said, it's really for anyone who moves.
mhm,
So that's pretty much all of us. But um, I wound up at Troy, which is another place that we intersected and studied with Robert W. Smith as well. I was his grad assistant for a while I got my master's degree. And he was really influential in my life in teaching me about how to develop and run commercial music at the university level. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now at Auburn and have been there. And it's a lovely transition into a new period of my life.
yeah.
Did that,
Like,
did that,
oh yeah, no, I'm sitting here like a little kid just listening. I'm just like, "Ah, and then what did you do? And then what did you do?" Like, it's just it's inspiring because like, yes, I got my degree at Troy and, I studied music industry. And then I kind of went a different path career-wise, but I kept coming back to voice and I was still performing and stuff as well, but learning about these different techniques of voice and there's always like and I say that, but we kind of know that because like there's classical singers and pop singers and all over the place, and so just to learn about a different technique style and, and what that could do. I mean, it like you said, it must be rewarding because you not only can you hear the difference with your students, but you could probably physically see it as it's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like now they don't have that tension or different pulls that you were talking about. And so it's like you can see them almost relax and then feel comfortable on stage while they're singing or have a more relaxed tone as they're singing. So it's really cool to hear a little bit about that, and I'm probably gonna be doing vocal lessons with you with the Alexander technique then, because again, that is an area that I'm always looking to learn as well, so, I mean, that's
Well,
just kinda life though.
yeah, I mean, hopefully, we're all lifelong learners, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about the Alexander technique, I'm really excited when I talk about this.
Yeah, no, yes.
But you have stimulus and response, right?
Mhm,
And how we respond to something determines what comes out of us as far as tone or, like I said, effortlessness or ease or how we connect with an audience. But in the middle of stimulus and response, there's a moment where you could possibly have a choice.
mm,
If you're aware and if you have practiced the tools and you know what the choices are, if you've practiced that choice in that moment, you can choose freedom. And
ooh,
that's a really wonderful place to be as a singer or a musician, or think about it on stage when the stimulus is like a bunch of eyeballs looking at you and you're like, wouldn't it be nice to have some tools to just go, okay, I know what this is. I'm
mhm,
going to choose to do something else because I've practiced it.
mhm.
And so that's what I love that I can start giving to students is that choice of freedom in the moment.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, today, I was singing on stage for worship with the worship team, and there's a moment where, like, yeah, you're singing in front of people, and they're staring back at you, and I had to kind of make some choices. It's like, okay, if I focus on the fact that they are staring at me while I'm singing, I'm going to start losing my technique, or I'm going to get nervous, or X, Y, Z, something's going to happen. And so that's when I start, moving around or close my eyes for a second or do just those little things to kind of get me to reconnect with the moment or reconnect with what I'm doing. So that's really awesome to kind of hear that and hear how that whole I felt like you were going into philosophy a little bit. It's just like, and then there's freedom. I was like, what is happening? So it's a good thing. So I was just like, okay, I'm really energized by this too. That's why I'm kind of giggly about it right now.
Well, I could go down the technique road for like hours. I know.
Yeah, we need to go get coffee and do something, but we're on the
Absolutely.
air, so that's a whole other story. But but no, so okay, so all these different paths, all these different areas of music that you have taken, and it's just a wealth of just knowledge and experiences and things that some of our artists can only dream of. I mean, you're talking about touring all over the world and recording with orchestras and people, and just it's the dream, it's what we look for. So can you share with us what it looks like to like take different goals, and like how do you move from one thing to the next, and how do you like determine when it's the right time to move to a next, you know, goal or thing.
You have to know when it's time to leave.
Yeah.
But I think you also have to I think there's a couple of really important things, is that you're willing and you have enough courage to say yes, even when you don't know how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
Mhm.
A lot of the opportunities that I got, singing at the Emmy Awards, I didn't know what I was doing. I just walked in and said, "I believe I can do this," and saying yes, and then figuring out how. So a lot of opportunities you sort of in this industry you make for yourself.
Mhm.
You put yourself into situations, you've practiced enough, opportunity meets preparation as Mr. Smith, right?
Yeah.
Have to be prepared and then you have to trust yourself.
Mhm.
And over time, I think as young students and younger people in the industry, you need to look back and say, I've done these things successfully and I've built up this, this wealth of I can do this.
Mhm.
And that's how you start having confidence and belief in yourself.
Yeah.
Is by looking back and building, this long line of things that you've done. I think knowing when to leave is a little bit of a different can of worms. I think if you are aware of yourself and who you are, and most of us as artists are very sensitive, and we're sensitive to what we're thinking and feeling too.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of a something, a gnawing something in you that says, it might be time, or something's like, you know, there wasn't one time when I was a performer in Las Vegas and I was in my late 30s, starting to go into early 40s, and I just started feeling, there wasn't anything that anyone ever really said or really did. I mean, I was at that point still in great shape, and you could always wig. I mean,
Still in, my goodness.
oh, stop.
I've s look, I've seen the photos and videos and stuff online.
Spent a lot of
Still
time
in.
in the gym. I don't do that anymore. But, there was just this knowing that it's starting to be a younger person's game. And even though I still looked good,
Mhm.
there was a difference between me and someone that was 25.
Yeah.
And so it started to become, okay, what road do I want to do? What other things interest me? Uh,
Mhm.
what can I start doing? Where do I start shifting my attention? And sometimes I think it's smart to just go ahead and leap.
Yeah.
And other times I think it's smart to get the plan in place and then move. And you have to know yourself. And
Mhm.
every situation is different, right? I mean, some people, when you say, look, if you jump off a cliff, you jump when the tide is out, so that by the time you get there, the water comes back in.
Mhm.
That's a scary thing to do, jump when there's no water beneath you, you
Yeah.
know? Um, so
And
there is a lot of reinvention, and I think it just comes down to knowing yourself in every season that you're in,
mhm.
because seasons change and you have to allow yourself to change with them.
Yeah. No, I was gonna echo or repeat what you said. I think that key part of knowing oneself is critical to not just music, but with any, aspect and any decision. Cause, you know, you can ask people for advice. You can ask every single person their opinion on whatever, and they'll give you every single different type of, thought process or decision making, whatever. And the thing is, you have to know what you're comfortable with. You have to know what you're ready for. And sometimes with that readiness, that could be I may not know what's going on, but I'm ready to find out what those steps are, or, like how you said, have that plan in place. So I like how your approach is on that because again, you can tell people advice all day, but everybody's in a different situation. It may not hit the right way for one person's versus the other person. So, and I think that's something that as teachers and as professors and stuff, we're getting acclimated with that because we were talking before the show about how with your students and stuff, it's like it's a new wave every year. And so yeah, so can we talk more about being on that side of, the industry when we are trying to pour into people, like what that ebb and flow can look like from a teacher's perspective, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking as you were chatting too, is that everyone's path is different.
Mhm.
So now I want to echo what you said, which was so beautiful too, is that there is not one way,
Mhm.
and so um helping students find who they are. Because if you don't know who you are, the world's going to try and tell you who you are.
Oh. Yup.
And if you're not careful, it's going to be someone that you don't want to be forever.
Yeah.
You want control and agency over who you are and your decisions of how you do things and how you run your life and your career. And everyone's career and everyone's path looks different.
Mhm.
So from a teaching perspective, my objective is to try and get to know my students and to try and help them first find really that center for
Mhm.
themselves and discover who they are. I don't like to teach. I don't want to try and even tell people who they are. That's not my job. I don't know. I can't know.
Yeah.
What I want to do is give them a safe space and a safe, working environment to find out
Mhm.
for themselves. And then I can help them, you know, try and say, okay, well, here are some things that you might consider. I
Mhm.
kind of think of myself more as a guide.
Yeah. I was thinking we guide our students and it's not just students, but it's just every level is like if we're in that, you know, com I say companion, but it's just like that partnership kind of thing with anybody. It's just yeah, you guide them. Yeah. So sorry. But
Huh. It
yeah.
is much a partnership and it's a co-learning.
Mhm.
It's a co I mean, I don't love honestly, I don't love the term teaching because
Mhm.
I can give people information,
Mhm.
but how they use it and how they receive it on any given day is different.
Yeah.
And I can't know once I deliver it, it's out there and they're going to receive it and understand it the way they want to or the way they can.
Yeah. What's also interesting about what you said is like how you can't predict like how they will receive it. You can't also predict when it will hit for them too. And because, sometimes there are things that I've learned and I was like, oh, that's what my parents or that's what my teacher or whatever was telling me about. Oh, I get it's that epiphany moment, but they were taught that 5, 10, whatever years ago. So yeah, it's just yeah. There was something else I was gonna say too. Because okay, so yeah, you mentioned that you are, a student of life and like you have all these different things that you're constantly learning about and now you're pouring into people. And so I just find that very beautiful how you are as you're receiving, you're flowing it out too. So I just wanted to commend that and as a I know we're getting short on time, but I wanted to ask what would be some advice for a new artist, a new person that is in that decision making phase of their life when they want to want to make a choice with music industry or if they should take the leap like how you're saying or should they plan it out like what would be just some advice for the listeners to kind of implement kind of what we talked about because we talked about a lot of good things today.
I like to remind people that it's important to have multiple streams of income.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Amen.
Well, all in this industry know. So I think that it is always important to say you need to have some sort of stream of income that keeps the lights on and keeps the rent being paid
Yep.
and gives you the quality and type of life that you safety that you feel good about because I think it's hard to create if you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
know? So I think number one is whether you're going to I mean, one of my students, I just love the energy of youth now. And I remember doing things like this. And now I think, oh, I just couldn't. But she got a job. She wants, I think, ultimately to have artistry, like her as an artist. She's a great songwriter. She's an amazing entertainer.
Mhm.
So I think she wants that as part of her big picture, you know, life.
Mhm.
But she is working, for a company now who reps a lot of artists, and she's doing stuff in the daytime for them, and then she leaves that job and she goes to bartend, you know?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
and then the cycle repeats. But I think so she's working on sort of both simultaneously, and I think that's the way it really goes.
Yeah.
Um, you can there is just there's another option. You could go out and there are still production shows that you could work. There's cruise ships that you could do where entertaining could be. You could be a solo act and go do restaurants. So you can make a living actually doing the performing side of it, but that's a personal choice, and you have to decide whether you wanna be an artist or are you going to be a singer in the industry. Like, that was my path. I wasn't so focused on being a songwriter. Eh,
Yeah.
not that I don't write songs, but that was not my intention.
Mhm.
So I think knowing that it's okay to have the job that keeps the lights on is an important step while you are working on a different part of your career. And then there's the other side hustle that you still do.
Yeah, I mean, you're essentially echoing what I do, and what my parents advised. They were like, "You can go for the dream, which is your music, but you got to have something to pay the bills." And so, and that balance between, career and one thing that I advise, and then I'm sorry for cutting you off on that, but one thing that I advise, like, my family and younger, individuals that come to me and talk about, like, "How did I get started?" It's I say, "Yes, pursue the path of your dream, um, but pick a career that is in line with your dream." So, I won't say too much about my stuff because I can't, but, my career path is in line with being an entrepreneur. And the way that I'm doing things with my career, it is teaching me so much about business, and it's taught me some things where now, I'm able to do the things that I'm doing with my company and with my music and things like that. And it's actually enabled me to be able to pour into other people and teach them certain things when it comes down to commercial things. I can't say too much beyond that. But long story, that's an example without redacting everything really, uh, but just kinda showcasing what that can look like. So, I used to do the performances and also the business build while also working my, 7:30 to 4:30. It's doable. It's the hustle, and I don't like using hustle. It's the flow of being in, you know, living and having a balanced life, really.
Well, I'm so glad you said that too, because I'm a really big proponent of self care.
Yeah.
You have to take time, and especially artistic people. Again, we need that recharge time.
Mhm.
You need it for your creativity time. So I like to really promote like an 80/20,
Yeah.
right? You can hit 80% of your marks. That's amazing. And if you want
Yeah.
to, that's okay, but give yourself some flexibility because sometimes I was out on a walk and I did my little walk and talk thing that's probably posted, I don't know by now on my YouTube channel, but I said I took the day off. I was tired. And I still got, but I know myself. I woke up the next day early feeling great because I took some time off, did what I was supposed to do, everything got done,
Mhm.
but you have to give yourself that flexibility. I
Yeah.
don't word hustle either, by the way.
Yeah, I like flow or stuff like that. But yeah, what you're echoing or what I'm echoing what you said is like give yourself some grace. It's like you're not a machine for a reason. Like you have to rest. That's kind of what I did for this past weekend. I was like, all right, I need to reset. So, but
Good,
okay. Huh?
good.
Yeah. I was supposed to be in 3 different places on Friday, and I was like, "No, no." And it's not that I didn't wanna be there. For listeners who don't know my personal life, I actually broke my toe last weekend, so I had to rest. So when you're talking about walking, I'm like, "I wish." But thank you so much for being on the show. How can people support you, follow you? I know you mentioned a YouTube just a second ago. I know you have your website as well. So let us know how we can stay in contact with you and support everything that you're doing on your journey.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. It's been lovely to catch up with you
Of
before the
course.
and to just get to talk to you like this. My YouTube channel right now is just my name.
Hmm.
I'm going to go through a rebrand, but of course I'll let everyone know. But if you, it's Jilla Webb official, and please let me know if you have questions or comments, anything that we talked about. I'm happy to do a video and post it on there because I always say, if one person has a question, guessing other people have similar questions. So I'm going through one of those reinvention times right now myself. So just putting things down and making room in my life to make some new choices and some new things to manifest that for my future. But
Yeah.
the website is a little under construction right now, and but the YouTube channel is up and going. And if there's information that anyone wants, let me know, and I will do my best to get it out there from my lens.
Fantastic. And if you haven't heard her sing, all I'm say is I'm sure she's gonna be playing in a city near you at some point. So please, when you see her starting to promote something, please go listen to her. She's amazing. She does like her covers and her tribute stuff. So she has some other things coming up too that I won't reveal. But all I'm saying is she is an amazing vocalist, an amazing person to get to know. But thank you so much for watching and listening. If you like what you heard, you can follow the podcast at Nana Music _ off the record. You can follow the company at Nana Music Productions, and you can follow me at webb.Tatiana M. And just remember, this podcast was off the record.